Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna from Flippin' Ain't Easy, and a busy day. A lot of exhaling going on, but I got to tell you, it's just some, a lot of good stuff going on. A lot of sales. A lot of last few days have been pretty good. So, from that standpoint, it's been a positive week. So that's always good to hear. Um, Today I wanted to talk to you about something I'm always, you guys know, I'm always looking at e-commerce bites, looking at other resources as well. But Ina Steiner does a great job of keeping up with a lot of stuff that sometimes that I don't experience myself. And case in point, the topic at hand today, which is the problem with search. And, again, there's nothing we can do as sellers to fix a lot of these glitches or any of these glitches for that matter, other than reporting them. But if you're not kind of in tune or don't have time to do research and look up stuff that's relevant to what you do, then you'll be oblivious to it. And then when it happens to you, you'll be like, well, what's up? So it's good to kind of know when these things happen. So want to talk about that today. And of course, we want to talk about your Q&A and stuff like that. Want to tell you a little return story that I have here that I thought you might find amusing. But before we begin, want to ask you guys that are with us in the live stream, please be a part of the program if you can. I know some of you are working while you're listening, which is cool. I do the same kind of thing too. But just to say hi, drop in and just drop a comment saying hi. You have a question, maybe you're dealing with something, maybe you're not sure about something. We got a lot of smart people here in the chat. I'm not always going to have the answer, but there's a lot of very intelligent folks that are with us today that have had this type of experience, probably what you're going through, and can answer your questions. So, and if you're with us and want to answer someone's question, surely, please do that. That's certainly helpful. If you're watching after the fact, again, sorry you couldn't make it with us on the live, but if you have any comments about the stuff we talk about or have your own question, please post that down below. I try, guys. I really do try. As the channel grows, I get more, getting more comments and getting more emails. It's funny, to be careful what you ask for, because last week I had told you guys, hey, be glad to look at your stores, and I just got hit with a lot of requests. So if I haven't gotten back to you, it's not that I've forgotten you. It's just that I have a small window of time that I allow myself to do these things. And like this week, a couple days, I didn't even have that time. Found myself trying to catch up on a lot of my my spreadsheet work that I've kind of let go. And I do it because it's therapeutic. I don't know if you guys do your spreadsheets. I could stay up all night just sitting there typing data in. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm so used to doing that in my previous career, where I dealt with spreadsheets, and it was just kind of therapeutic to me. And it's really good to know what you're into certain items for, or what, if you keep a track of what you're paying for some of these items. It's really kind of amusing to, well, wow, I bought that for $2 and I flipped it for, 80 to 100. It kind of adds to my motivation, but I think it's a process I need to do more often. So I need to get back on track with that. So now that hopefully a lot of you guys have kind of rolled in here, want to talk about some of these, or the glitch of the week, I guess, is one that other channels have talked about recently. I believe on Thursday, yesterday, there is a number of people who are having problems with search. Now, more specifically, let me see if I can find it, because I was just on here. Yeah, here it goes. Glitch prevents some people from searching on eBay. And I guess just some of the comments that people were saying was, when eBay first loads, can put mouse over the search bar and click anywhere, cursor will follow, can fill in search item, etc. While eBay searches and refreshes, animated icons still can mouse over the search bar and click. After the page is loaded with the items, hovering mouse over search bar and clicking, nothing works. And then another person says all listings, accepts offers, etc. is down. Can click on buttons just from that up eBay shop category. Mouse won't function using latest version of Chrome, and so on and so forth. Others were reporting that, they type in a certain like name or title of something, and something that's close would pop up in search, but not anywhere near what they were actually trying to find. Now, that's just sellers looking for their items. Now, can you imagine the millions of buyers out there, and who knows what percentage of buyers would be experiencing this, because I haven't come across it, but how many buyers out there are experiencing that problem where they just can't locate what they're looking for? And when that happens, they're going to leave. They're going to go somewhere else. Maybe it's Mercari, maybe it's Etsy, maybe it's Poshmark, maybe it's Amazon, right? So how many chances does a buyer get? And unfortunately, eBay is not creating what I've called, and I've termed this from my other previous experience, eBay is not creating a low effort experience for the buyer, right? So when an experience becomes high effort, where they have to continually refresh or try different things, they get fed up, they go away. eBay loses, we all lose. So now I haven't heard a lot about that today, haven't seen a lot of reports today. So let's hope that that's been fixed. Let's hope that eBay is watching these channels, looking at some of these forums, still looking at Ina's website, e-commerce bites, and trying to identify where the problems are, in hopes that they are just as eager to resolve some of these issues than we are. So that's just what I have to say about that. Please comment down below if you guys have experienced that yourself. To what extent is it still happening today? Thankfully, I haven't come across many glitches and knock on particle board here. It's just a matter of time with this platform. Anything they touch, it's like, don't touch the site, just leave it alone. I'm almost like to the point where I'm like, just don't even bother trying to give us people to pay for our items now at this point. Just stop tweaking the site altogether and just leave it alone as it is. No more winter seller updates, no more fall, spring, summer, who knows. Just leave it alone.
Whatever season it is.
Right. Just leave it alone. Let it just be the old platform it is. And, the fewer glitches that we can navigate through, the better. And the point isn't to try to complain. It's simply to just bring up the discussion. Let's make everyone aware, and let's navigate through it. Right. I put out a video about the promoted rates, and about, if you guys watched it a couple days ago, actually it was yesterday, it feels like a couple days ago, in that we're talking about what your number is. How far are you going to go before you say enough is enough when it comes to your promoted listing rate, if you promote? And I think I got a lot of people riled up, and I didn't mean to. I guess
what else is new?
There's a lot of people out there. There's quite a few that just don't like me. That's fine. Look,
to each his own.
Yeah, I look, it's like this. I'm going to tell you how it is. I got no agenda. I ain't making any extra money off of you if you watch my video. I'm not going to be plugging a service. You're shaking my table.
I'm so sorry.
And so my thing is that I just want you guys to know things how I see it. Now, it may not be how you see it. And the reason is because you sell something different than I do. You have different eBay experiences than I do. And, it's not to upset you. It's just to share my opinion. And that's the cool thing about YouTube. You're going to have a lot of different YouTubers with a lot of different opinions. And the idea is just to start a conversation, because if we can't communicate about it on any forum, then, we're not going to, A, know how to navigate around it. B, know how to collectively figure out, like in this case, what our number is, at what point do you not promote? And C, it gives eBay a chance to try to fix some of these things, or maybe understand that we're not having it. They're watching, they're reading the comments. They know we're pretty fed up about the fees. And while we can't individually do anything about things like that, we can certainly influence eBay. And the thing is, I didn't go to the check-in yesterday. Some things came up. Was actually trying to get.
Yesterday was worse than today.
Yeah. And I was going to be there to ask the tough questions, but I can't be the only one. we need the sellers to show up to some of these things and ask the same questions, because then they start passing that on to say, look, there's a lot of people that are upset. We can't go any further with this. And that's the hope. Now, I can hope all I want. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. But I can tell you, when the squeaky wheel starts squeaking and it's multiple people that are the squeaky wheel, corporations tend to listen. But it has to be a large number of folks. So a couple other things I'll get off my soapbox, and that is a return that I thought was kind of amusing that's kind of ongoing right now. I sold one of these golf trainers. It's called an Orange Whip. It's called an Orange Whip Lightspeed, actually.
I think we talked about it on a previous live.
Well, it's
just about it. It was about a sale, and used it as an example.
Well, that one that I talked about, it's certainly a bolo type of thing where you should be on the lookout for these kind of things. Yeah. But there's two different types. One's the regular, one's the Lightspeed version, which is a smaller version. It's a totally different thing. It's more for like helping your swing speed rather than tempo. I know you non-golfers don't care, but there's a difference in the two. And my listing was very clear. You go and look in my feedback, because I have a negative feedback on it, and temporarily, that is. And this person bought it, and we shipped it out, and they said, hey, you sent me the wrong thing. You sent me the kid version of this, and I want the regular version. Well, and then they said, and also, why did you change the listing? So it's like, okay, we got one of these buyers. First of all, I sent you what was written in the listing, which is in fact, the first bullet point in the listing says, this is not the original version. Okay. And he kept making reference to the size of the original one. And nowhere does my listing say 47 inches is the length of the club. It's 43 inches. And, he wanted to make it sound like I did the switcheroo on him. Like, why would any seller really try to advertise a club or anything and then send a different item and then cover their tracks before the buyer complains? That doesn't make any sense. But that was his argument. He opened a return, and I let him know that, this is what we shipped. This is exactly what's in the listing. And I'll certainly take the return. However, the return label is going to be adjusted in your refund. So, he put an end to that, said, I'm tired of your whatever, and I don't want to talk to you, and that's fine. And that was the end of that. And then, so I wake up this morning to a negative feedback that states that he ordered the 47 inch and got like a kid size or whatever. And you cannot, as a seller, as a buyer, ask for something that's not part of the original sale. Okay. You cannot make demands. You cannot say I paid too much for shipping. You cannot say that it was too high in price. You cannot say I didn't get X, Y, and Z when it's clearly that X, Y, and Z wasn't offered in the listing. And if they make reference to that in the negative feedback, it comes off. Now, I called eBay. They said, well, I tried to take it off, but because they have a return open, they're actually in the process of sending it back. And it's actually in the mail on the way back to me, going to be here by Monday, that I can process the refund, and then I can have it removed. And for me, it's more of negative feedback doesn't mean that much as it used to. So if it stayed, it stayed. But it's more about the impression that he would give another buyer that I am shady, dishonest, and it would give them question to like, well, if I buy this, I might have issues. Let me go to this other seller. And I do the same thing. If I see a lot of negative feedbacks, if I see bad reviews, I'm moving on, and I'm not taking the risk. And I think other buyers out there are the same way. So I don't want that attached to my name. Even though I know also if you process a refund, that is automatically sent to a queue where they remove the negative feedback anyway. But the quicker I can get it removed, the better. Fortunately, it hasn't affected my sales in a negative way. But you got these buyers that they're just so they're so convinced that you can go in and change a listing once the item is sold. You can't change anything in the listing.
It just goes to prove that people come on, they buy a purchase, and they don't have any idea how eBay works. So
yeah. And before the show, I was checking my email, and Jovial Juggler sent me an email saying, I've been doing a lot of thinking, about slow sales on eBay. Why don't you and a lot of influencers get together and really push Bonanza? And I wish it was that easy. I really wish it was that easy. I mean, the problem is we could all migrate over to a site like that. And with the level of traffic, you're still going to get the same slow sales. I haven't received a sale on there in like weeks. Not to say
I
though,
would say months.
no, it was the 5th of May. It was like 2 weeks. It was 5th
What
of May.
was it?
Heck, it was I don't think anyone cares, but oops, that's the wrong one. On orders. Geez, it's like, come on. Just trying to click to it. It's that I sold it's a Peloton tread walking desk tray. It's an attachment for the Peloton. And that was a $119 sale, which is cool.
There's just not enough traffic there.
No, I mean, we could all migrate over there. And I would say, just from my experience, we sold about 5 or 6 this year. If you're interested in adding, maybe a few sales a quarter, it's worth migrating it's 10 minutes, guys. You basically take 10 minutes. The only thing is you got to remember to check it. So, every other day or so, check your Bonanza. For me, I have an eBay app on my phone. So they tell me when I get
I know that's the part is we're so used to apps that do all the notifications for you. And when you actually have to use a website and there's no option for notifications, then you're just kind of left at your own memory. And I know for us, we don't have one.
Well, and the thing is, though, we've been good about, we've never really been late on a shipment on that. I think we may have missed one by like a day and a half or something. We got it right out. But for me, if you are having slow sales, and we're getting into a period of a time where historically in the summertime, for most categories, not all, you're going to be dealing with slower than expected sales or slower than desired sales. Sales are still going to happen. Not saying that it's not, but you want to consider, if you're having slow sales, cross-posting, whether it's with any of the tools out there. We use Prime Lister, and there's a link below if you want to try it out. But honestly, there's some items that will sell on Mercari, will sell better on Poshmark, better prices on Poshmark, and other sites than they will on eBay. And a lot of it's based on competition. I think I kind of covered this, but let's say you're a liquidation, eBay, an Amazon liquidation pallet kind of person, where you just get all kinds of the third-party brands, overseas brands. Well, guess what? You're up against a lot of drop shippers that are drop shipping off of Amazon, and you're actually in high competition as it is. Well, there's not really any that I know of drop shippers on Mercari, and you're going to have lower competition with those kind of items. So it's worth at least cross-posting for me. And I know the concern is, well, I don't want to sell something twice. Well, only cross-post something that's been sitting in your account 30 days, 60 days, something that's not going to be snatched up real quick as soon as you list it. And I have not had a single problem doing it that way, because someone snatches it up in Mercari, I get the message on my phone, I'm immediately in the eBay app removing it, and it doesn't take more than a couple minutes. So just something to consider. If you're not getting a lot of sales, I mean, this ain't going to automatically give you duplicate sales, this process. You're not getting sales anyway, so why not look into it? So the idea is to help anyone try to improve their sales. Again, looking at stores, people have emailed me, trying to get back to you as soon as I can. Unfortunately, the ones that I've looked at, most of them, there's always a few things. And I think that people really want to know the answer, but then when you tell them what you see, some of them are in denial or won't even reply back. They may not be happy with the answer. So I'm only going to give you an honest assessment. And if you do send me an email to look at your store, but I am behind, I will get to that as soon as I can.
I mean, everybody has room for improvement. I mean, look, we have changed things back and forth and so many times in the since we went full time in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We have changed things so much over and over again, and it's a constant change. You're never going to stop making changes. It's going to be, you're moving with the times, the prices and the pictures and the way that eBay wants you to do this, that, and the other.
Right.
You're constantly evolving. And if you're not willing to look at your store and say, wow, I really could probably change the way I do my pictures, or the way that I have my description laid out. There's little things that you can do in your store that will make a big difference.
Yeah.
And it's all trial and error, but we can't just say, oh, my pictures are perfect, my description's perfect, I have all the keywords in the first 5 words of the title. You've just switch it around and see what happens. What's the harm in that?
Right. But at the same time, you don't want to just throw grass up in the wind and say, oh, let me try to do it this way. Yeah. I've been telling you guys the way to do it. You don't need me to look at your store. All you got to do is look at the items you're selling, pull them up in search, if search works. Okay. But once it works and you're able to find the solds for the same item you're selling, well, why did theirs sell? And why? That'll answer your question as to why yours probably isn't selling. Maybe they're offering free shipping. Maybe no one's ever sold that item with calculated shipping. Maybe you need to make that adjustment. I mean, I'm not one that's going to use free shipping, but if I was sitting on an item for months, for instance, I'll give you an example. We had 4 brand new sealed Samsung toners that I got into a liquidation pallet last year sometime. Brand new sealed, factory sealed, plastic, everything. Nothing's been opened. And I couldn't sell those for anything. I had them for like $39.99 plus shipping, cheaper than what the retail is by far. Couldn't sell them, couldn't move them. Got them down to, I think I had them like $29.99. I put them free shipping because the few that did sell had free shipping. Still couldn't sell them. Someone sent me an offer for all 4 of them for $80 free shipping. They were coming from California. I took it, snapped it up, and ended up spending about $15 on the label.
12.
Okay, so after eBay fees and all that, I'm into it for no more than $20, and so I make $60 on the sale. Probably made a little bit more than what I was into the items for anyway, and make a mental note not to buy Samsung toner again, or buy pallets that have that kind of thing in it. So you have to keep adjusting. You cannot draw a line and say, I'm never, ever going to not do this. My business model says I am going to charge additional shipping on top of what I sell. But if I need to move an item and what I'm trying to do just ain't working, as many months as I set on an item, you got to draw a line and say, it's time to just move it. And I'm kind of getting that idea to do that with some of the items, even some of the items I'm picking up that really aren't going, to try to get creative because I'm into those items for so little anyway.
Right, you need to get to some comments.
Yeah, but I know, but I think this is pretty good content. I think sometimes you guys
talking to yourself.
I think sometimes people want to listen to me blow wind a little bit about the business.
No, you're 30 minutes in. Let's do this.
We are doing it. So here we go. And this is what I put up with every day, guys. I mean, it's like, come on here, give me a break. I'm doing the best I can. So we have Keena in the house. She promises to behave. So hopefully,
yeah, right.
PTS Treasure says, hey everyone, we have Truman 316. Picky Ricky's here. Says hi all. Like button has been pressed for my live sale. So you hit that like button. I don't know how or why it works, but you're going to get a sale within the next 24 hours. I promise you. And if not, just whatever I charged you to hit the like button, you can get that back. John M says my search has been freezing up, lagging on desktop. Have refresh page. Very annoying. I also get very few results for items I know way more than sold. No issues on the app. And someone had said in one of these remarks about this whole thing with the search problem and what you're talking about, it's eBay's way of trying to get people to push over to the app. I don't know. Look, eBay, if eBay was intricate enough to fix their website problems, I would think that maybe there could be some merit to that, trying to push you over, get you used to using the app. But I don't think they're at that level.
We'll never know
No.
reason behind why they do any of the things that they do.
Yeah.
We just have to keep trucking along, you know?
PTS Treasure says there's currently an app desktop glitch with sending orders. Desktop has been punchy today for me as well. I mean, I haven't experienced anything. We had 14 orders, 13 orders today. In fact, our FedEx hasn't picked up yet, so we might have that happen during the show.
Don't you worry, I'll be getting up.
Victor says, hello, everyone. How you doing, Victor? Oh, just a funny story about FedEx on Friday, since I was mentioning it. Friday after the show, we realized nobody came to pick up the packages, which means that I have to get in load everything in the car. And on Mondays is the worst day. We had an entire back.
No, it was Monday because I said it was Monday.
Yeah, did I say Friday?
You said Friday.
Okay, I keep thinking it is Monday.
It was Monday.
It is. It was on Monday. Today being Friday, and had to get all of the packages loaded to get like 8 miles across town to the only facility that was open past 5 that would actually give me a scan that day for the package. I mean, you could drop it off at like other businesses, but you're not getting the same day scan. And as I was getting down the street about a half a mile away, I saw a FedEx truck. So I'm like, okay, I'm following this dude. And I was like on his tail, and he was like going down a residential street, and he made a right, he made a left, he made a right. I think he was trying to like shake me. And he finally got into a cul-de-sac, and he was doing the roundabout, and I stopped. I got out and I waved him out. I'm like, hey man, you guys never showed up to pick up my packages. Could you take my packages?
Mind you, this was in our neighborhood.
Well, it's like a half mile down that way.
Like near our house.
Not far.
So it could have been our driver that just hadn't shown up yet.
It was. Because as soon as he got the packages, he's like, I recognize the address. He's like, yeah, I was going to be one of my next stops to pick these up. So it saved me about an hour. Yeah. The agreement was 2 to 5, but that's the only time it's ever happened. But it's like, man, I had to like chase this guy down. It was going to be like a high speed like car chase. Just glad he didn't jump on the freeway. So that was my little story.
Sure your car would have beat his truck.
I know, but it would have been amusing if it wasn't in the little neighborhood. Picky Ricky says, I've lost at least 3 eBay followers this week. I don't know if I'm selling crap stuff or people leaving eBay. Can I be honest? I haven't seen your store.
Followers?
I haven't seen your store, but I gotta say, there's a lot of us out there who are selling stuff that's not desirable. So it could be that, or it could be the latter, where people are leaving the platform, unfortunately.
eBay allows you to have followers?
Yeah, you could follow. I never even pay attention.
Follow a store.
Yeah,
okay.
I never pay a lot of attention to that type of thing. Biscuit Butt says, hey, Keena, PTS, Ricky, Truman, John, Victor, and the rest of the FAE fam. Thanks for being here, Archie. PTS Treasure says, hi, Biscuit Butt. Let's get down to some of the new folks here. We got Ping G. Thanks for being here, Ping. Prosser's here. I haven't seen you in a while, Prosser. Thanks for being here.
He said, I think he just got back from holiday.
Flippin' Con Marco says, hey, FAE fam, I'm back. I was on vacay across the pond. That was something else. How is it going with sales? Sales, you know what? Sales on one account. So the secondary account that has 600 some odd items, it's not very good, to be honest with you. If over the last week, if it wasn't for the military stuff that we put on that account, and the sales that we had like a $200 sale on one pair of like, what was it? It was a military, that 2-pack that we sold. It was the parka, or what was it?
Oh, it was a cold weather parka, and they call them trousers. So it's a U.S. Army issued, like cold weather. It goes underneath your uniform, and it's like a puffy material. It's super thick, and it was new with tags. I sold that in literally 5 minutes.
Yeah, so
listed it.
Probably had a price too low, but $200, $199 plus shipping. That went fast. But if it wasn't for those sales, and we made a number of like smaller $40, $50 sales with that lot, military stuff, it's pretty dead, guys, on that account. On the main account with only 250 items, we're having $400 and $500 days. And so it just
We're
boils.
selling a lot of those DVDs.
Yeah, on the other account, we're selling like a lot of the media and stuff, but it's not adding up to a whole lot.
Well, no, but at least they're selling.
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea, to use that account to move the smaller ASP, focusing on keeping higher ASP on my main account. And I still got stuff I got to move over to the other account. So we're doing pretty well with my main account, and I'm hoping that it kind of proves a theory, and we're not there yet to even know, but we'll know in a couple months, that there are items and there are business models on eBay that can be summer proof, where you're selling items of higher demand, needs, not wants, that people will look for regardless of the season. And I'm hopeful that that we're doing that here. So that's kind of what we're doing.
This guy must have been, we were shipping it to Seattle, which tells me that he may be stationed in Alaska, because we don't ship to Alaska. So I'm pretty sure
on US mail ones we do. I have it set. We'll look at it, but on the larger ones, on UPS items, we don't.
Well, anyway, he's stationed in Alaska, so it's still cold there. A lot of places have snow, so you just never. It's a unicorn buyer. We got lucky. We'll take it.
Kevin's with us here in the house from Lakeland, Florida. Midnight Merchant. Happy Friday, y'all. Bling Bling Factor, Australia. I hope everyone's doing well. We're good. We're good. Leonard Kosakowski says hello from New Hampshire. Hope you're doing well. Sales are mixed for Leonard. Daniel Lesage says, hi, John. Can I have your email address? I have a couple of questions to ask you. Yeah, that's flippinainteasy2020@gmail.com. Yeah. And you can also find it in the channel of the About section in the channel too. Flippin' Con Marco says, yes, it was expensive out there. I managed to stay under a budget. So he was out like in the UK and London or something. Andy Reno has an actual photo now for his icon. It says Andy in Indiana in the house. Thanks for being here. Daniel's from Baton Rouge, and first time to be here for the lives.
Start. No, for the live start.
Yeah,
he's been
awesome.
Here
Awesome.
before.
Art's with us today. We have LSGS Rob. How you doing, Johnny? Doing good. Good as I can do. It is Friday, so that actually makes things a little bit better. Mark Sudick says, hi, John and Jenna. Thanks for your live. Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
And No One Design says, hey, Jenna, did you dye the pup pink to match your top?
No.
No, it's just the lighting on him, I guess.
It's I don't know why it comes off pink, but the light is actually red.
Well, we got a news bulletin. Darlene is no saint. Ina Steiner makes me rock hard. Well, that's nice, but she does do a good job with her site. So John Gaynor's in the house. Thanks for being here. Bearded PokeTubers in the house. And LSGS Rob says, I don't know where everyone is getting these issues from, but I've had none. Just need to be listing good solid items with great sell-through rates. You can have a lot of items, but it won't always sell. That is absolutely 100% true. It's just hard to diagnose things for people who come to me and say, I haven't had a sale in weeks. I haven't had it in days. I haven't had, any success. And I'm sitting here getting sale after sale. It's hard to be able to tell them, without looking at your store, there's a good chance you're selling things that people just don't want. And it could be that eBay is causing you some problems too, but you can't fix that. Okay. You can report it, right? And then you just got to move on. I mean, after you call eBay and say, hey, look, I'm encountering this problem. I'm not getting any sales. Is this because of it? Well, once you hang up, you got work to do. It's time to keep listing, right? And look for items like if you're at a yard sale tomorrow or this weekend, start looking for things that are going to make you more than $10. I promise you, you start getting stuff that have a sale through rate of over $20, or actually an ASP of over $20, and a reasonably high sell through rate where you have multiple sales within the last month of a particular item. It's time to buy it and to maybe put down the stuff you're used to buying because you're comfortable with it. And I think that was my biggest thing. And you guys know that making the change back in late January, early February of this year, I was in the dumps, guys. My store was horrible. And we made the change to buy stuff we didn't want to mess with, the larger stuff. And it's just working for us. So you got to be willing to make that change.
Go back up.
Would I miss somebody?
Debbie 1220. She's new to the channel.
Hey Debbie, didn't see you. I'm new to your channel. Thank you for the chat. Well, thank you for being here, Debbie. Appreciate you. Henri Squaw. That's right, Henri Squaw. That's different. Howdy. Do squaws say howdy though? I don't think squaws say howdy. That's cowboy talk. Silver Hair Stacker.
It's a country.
Yeah, I know. Silver Hair Stacker says, I deal with spreadsheets every bedtime.
I was waiting for you to get to that one. That's funny.
Okay. Keena says, I sold 2 items on eBay this week. Surprisingly.
Surprisingly?
Well, I hope that you are diversified to other sites. Well, at least I don't have to chase down FedEx trucks after the live, so that's good that they're here. Rosie Games says, hi, John and Jenna. Nice to see you all. I hope everyone is doing well. Thanks for being here, Rosie. Edward McHugh says, hi from Central Florida. We have Kelly A. Hello, guys. Jenna, you look so pretty. I'm sure she'll appreciate that. Lisa Dury says, hello. Hey, all. Thanks for being here, Lisa. How about Thriftaholic for you all sorts says, glitches getting worse by the day. I have 2 items that were bought on the 17th and buyers have not paid, but eBay shows the items were bought today on the 19th, along with many other glitches. That is very, very strange. But, you know, what can we do about it? I guess that's the question. Do you just say enough is enough and quit eBay, but you're quitting the traffic? You're quitting opportunities? I choose not to do that. As much as things can frustrate you, you just got to stay the course, guys. This is where the traffic's at. And maybe it won't be that way in 2 years from now. Maybe Etsy, because they've been advertising a lot. Maybe Mercari is going to be it. Maybe Bonanza. I know that Jovial wanted me to keep pushing it, but maybe Bonanza will finally figure out it's time to start advertising, because eBay's kind of stopped. I haven't seen a lot of relevant advertisements from eBay lately. So, you know, who knows? Bill York says, hello, everyone. Thanks for being here, Bill. My paper route says I could search, but the results made no sense to my search words. So yeah, if you put something that's very similar to what you're trying to find, you know, you might end up with that. I think on another channel, they're looking for a certain DVD. They actually, I think they scanned a UPC code and it came up with the word CD, like for every title, which makes no sense. It's almost like it's a glitch where eBay changed the title and the search on these listings. Who would list an item and just put CD down for the actual title name? So that to me was a glitch for sure. Sue Christensen says, hello, listening while I list. So yes, you're getting those listings done. You know, to me, I was actually really in a groove before it was time to get ready for the live. And, you know, I'll get my groove back, but it's like, just when you get in that mood to list and really get in the groove, it's really tough to stop. But you know, we had to. Ed says, "Good old eBay glitches." Yes, Whispering Hill Farms in the house. Sorry, I'm late. I was outsourcing.
I love that baby chicken.
Yeah, outsourcing. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you got some good deals. Alfonso says, "With all the glitches, I've had better sales on Mercari this week." You know, I've heard that.
A lot of
People have had some better sales with Mercari. We took a lot of our stuff off of Mercari just temporarily, not because I think the part of it was because we were going to change the shipping method on a lot of these. We were getting a lot of the UPS because we had it set up for UPS, and I'm trying to eliminate UPS altogether because I don't want to make that extra trip for one package. Yeah. Michelle Wathen says, I have a problem with shipping policy not being able to be adjusted within a listing anyone else. So if you go in and you're trying to change your shipping policy, I haven't had that. I do know that on the app, it's created some return policies for me. Instead of using my default return policy, it's trying to create its own. And I don't know if anyone's seen that. I've gone in and I've had like 40 listings that it automatically assigned that to, that I had to go in and change. So who knows what that's about?
You need to scroll all the way down.
I will scroll and scroll and scroll. Why? What's going all the way down?
Keep all the way down.
I'm gonna lose my place. Okay. Oh, well, that's why. Thank you. 918 says, when sourcing in bulk, how important is sell-through? Well, thank you for the super chat. When sourcing in bulk, how important is it for sell through? I think regardless of what you're selling, your sell through is very important. The only thing is, if you're sourcing in bulk and it's not manifested, you're really not going to be able to control like some of the stuff you get, and some of it might just be duds. And that's the tough thing about liquidation. If you can get something that's manifested, you definitely want to look into seeing how many times is the item sold in the last 30. Check how many times it's sold in the last 90. So when you do your solds, your search by sold, it's going to show you the list based on 90 days. I mean, it doesn't do, to me, you can go further than that with, what is the name of it? Just because I don't use it so much, but Terapeak on eBay, you can go back beyond 90 days, but I like to look at recent trends, because what sold around Christmas time may not be selling now. And see just, how many times it sold, how many people are on that listing, how many people are trying to sell it. Meaning that if you have a lot of people that are trying to fight for those 12 solds in the last 30 days, well, I mean, how many sales do you really think you're going to get, unless you're able to undercut them and or find a way to really promote high and get your item higher in the algorithm when they do the best match search. So thank you for the super chat. But the sourcing, it doesn't matter how you do it. It's pretty much the same principles across the board. You can use the same method at yard sales, thrift stores, any other way you get your stuff. You want to keep an eye on that. But I think a lot of people just think, I'm just going to list it. This is what it sold for me last year. They don't do any research on it. And then they kind of scratch their head wondering what's going on and why they're not, making sales. You got to really be in tune with what's selling right now, not last year or even around Christmas time. We're in a different market right now than we were even 6 months ago. Let's see if I can kind of catch up. I don't know if I am. Jan's here. Jan's checking in from Deltona, Florida. Thriftaholic says eBay better lower the fees with all the other competition out there, or they're going to lose sellers.
They're not going to be lowering any fees. I can guarantee you that.
They already are. And, for me, it's, how long are they going to maintain the level of buyers that we need as sellers to keep our sales going? That's a good question. And where are these people going? Are they just going to Amazon? Are they going to these other smaller sites? Which tells me you probably really need to start getting yourself, don't remove yourself from eBay, but get your stuff moved over. Now, if you're killing on eBay, don't move anything. Like the stuff I'm selling, I'm not putting on other sites. I'm moving on eBay. But like my secondary account, we have stuff that's cross-posted because it's just another group of people who aren't considering eBay that may be interested in your items. And if you develop a formula like we have, let it sit on eBay for 30 days, then start looking at ways to get it in front of more people. And that's...
Yeah, I got to work on Mercari.
Yeah. And then let's see here. We got Silver Hair riled up. Mark Suddick says eBay search sucks. It definitely isn't where it should be. I can tell you that right now. It's, you can look for your item, right? And you can like copy and paste half of your title, and you get one like set of listings that'll come up. And then you could put in like keywords from that title in a different order and put that in search, and you'll get a totally different batch.
That's what was happening to me yesterday with all that military stuff I was listing.
Okay.
Every time I would change the search with different words, it would give me a whole brand new list of sold items. It was crazy.
Alfonso says, I promote up to 5%. However, eBay themselves state they don't need to promote you, even if you pay the promotion fees. So who really knows? Yeah, they don't have, according to the terms of service, eBay doesn't, they state that they don't have to promote anything. To me, it's not, I don't think it's cool. If they're willing to accept, now remember, they're not taking any money up front, except for the fact that they're taking money from you. If you have a store, they're taking up front. But they're not giving you anything they're not giving you any sales, but you're not giving them anything because of it. Now, if you're doing the promoted listings advanced, where you're spending money, on a daily basis, that to me is a different story. And I don't think that they should be allowed to, block your listings if you're paying that daily fee. I don't do it myself, so I don't know if that's an issue with anyone who's ever encountered that. But I would think that there is something not right if they were to do something like that. Let's see. Jan says, I opted out of international and then had messages from 2 potential buyers about shipping overseas. Okay, so you can opt out of eBay's international shipping program and have your listing set up to where you're still accepting international orders. The only difference is you're shipping it to that country directly, and you can really save money on like Pirate Ship. They have a good international program where you can, let's say you're doing like a calculated or fixed price rate, and you have because in your shipping policy you can set a separate price for international. I usually do like calculated, and if it's under £4, you can do their international shipping program on Pirate Ship and get some pretty good rates and not miss out on these sales. And actually, your buyer's paying less than the international the international program that they're offering right now. And that video I put out, was it last week? It might not even be relevant anymore. I don't know if anyone's tried to change back to the eBay's international shipping program. My hope is that videos like that get a lot of traction and eBay sees it. They get a team on it. They fix it. And, everything's back to normal. We could take advantage of that. I'm not going to switch over, though, until I kind of hear that it's normalized.
And sometimes the video content does change from week to week to week to day to day. Anything that you may have talked about 3 months ago may not even be relevant. It's just the way that eBay is everly changing.
Everly?
Everly.
I don't know. I haven't heard it that way, but hey, who am I to talk about the English language, right?
Yeah, Mr.
DK Weather says, have you thought about creating your own online store and dropping eBay and all other sites? I have a rep from FedEx that's part of the reason why I missed the eBay event, is because I had a meeting, a lunch meeting with him about different things. And they have a program set up that they'll actually have some consultants that they pay for that would, sit with you if you have an account with them, that will actually help you get integrated over to like a Shopify type situation and give you all the basics and stuff. But to be honest with you, I'm not there yet. I'm not to the point where I'm like, okay, eBay's done. I'm not making enough sales, so I got to figure it out. I've adapted to eBay, and I think that's the message, that you've got to figure it out. I don't have the answer for you. If you're selling stuff that's just not selling the way it used to, well, that tells you that in your case, the market's changed, and you can sit back and wait for it to come back, and it very well may. But right now, that ain't the case for a lot of people, and it's time to make some very, very tough decisions. And that very well may be if you're sitting a lot of those kind of items and you don't want to buy a new product, that you've got to find things like an online presence where you're paying for like Google traffic for Shopify, or give these other sites a try. Cross post over to like Mercari or Etsy and even Poshmark and see if that works. But if you don't bother to, it kind of cracks me up. You got people who want to complain about, I'm not getting any sales, but they're not willing to take that step and to do something like that. I don't care what program you use, but use a program that's going to help you make it faster. Don't do it manually. Really get in there and give it a try. And some of these sites, like the one that I have Prime Lister down below, they'll give you 2 weeks to try it without even giving them a credit card. So, put 100 listings over and just see what it does for you. But you'll never know until you try. Prosper says eBay is losing sellers, but eBay don't care, because for every seller that leaves, 2 more pop up. Yeah, but it's really about the buyers. What separates eBay from the other sites is the buyers, and they really need to figure. That ain't happening with buyers. For every seller that leaves, 2 more pop up. It's they're losing buyers. They're losing transactions, and that's why they're finding creative ways to feed the seller, but to make up for it, to bridge that gap. Josh is with us. Just did awesome at garage sales today, and found a lead on a local auction. That's awesome.
Very cool.
And he also says, love these shows you guys do. Well, thanks, Josh. Thank you for being here. As I've said many times, and I'll say it again, this live stream ain't what it was, say a year, what was it, a year ago? I think we started doing them a little over a year ago. It ain't what it was back then. And it's not because of anything that I'm doing differently. It's because we've got a lot of great people that tune in with us. A lot of people that make it part of their routine. They're here on Mondays and Fridays, and like to see you pop up on those Mondays and Fridays every week with us. There's just a lot of people that are here
a lot of the time.
Yeah. No One Design says, had a strange thing happen this week from Tuesday to now, and it is a first for my store. We had no awaiting payments. All offers that I accepted or offers sent, and they accepted, all paid instantly. That's awesome.
That's very nice for you, but we don't have that.
You just happen to have the right people. I mean, on my main store, waiting payment, I think I've got 2. I've got, oh my gosh, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these aren't any that I can cancel.
I think you can.
That one, there's one that was that one where the glitch happened, and it's, when I go to try to cancel it, it says cancellation already exists, and it's still here under my awaited payments. It was a large item where I had domestic shipping only, and someone from the UK was able to accept an offer. Yeah. And so we ended up, saying, sorry, I can't help you. And so he's not going to buy it. He can't, it won't let him. But it's just weird that it won't let me cancel it. And then when you contact eBay, how do I clear this? They're like, well, it'll automatically do it on its own after like 30 days or something. But it's like, okay, whatever. So Jan says, so opted back into international and have been playing around with my promoted rates to see what happens. I did get a lowball offer today, which I countered, but no dice. Yeah, some people are, they're looking for the deals, and if they can't get it, they're going to move on. And I had
quite a few of those on Poshmark the last few days.
Yeah, I had one.
Just don't want that. They want to lowball you so badly that you're like, no.
Yeah, and I had one where they tried to give me a really stupid offer, and I came back and I said, this is the lowest I'll go. Didn't hear anything back from them. Then they came back with a similar stupid offer a couple days later. And I came back and said, look, I'll go $5 lower than where I was at, but that's it. I'd rather just mark it down and let someone else get it at this price. And they bought it. So it is what it is. But you just got to sometimes be willing to wait it out. Or if you've sat on that item for months and you finally get someone to give you what you paid for it, maybe it's time to just cut bait and buy something better. Thriftaholic says, I started chatting with a young kid at Red, White, and Blue Thrift yesterday, and he said he went into tech and sports store and was like, dang, this guy is selling Greg Norman polos with stains in the armpits.
Oh.
I don't know a whole lot about tech and sports store. I know it's a huge one. I know it's a very large one. I don't know how much time they have to look into each and every one that they list, aside from taking quick photos and putting it up. You'd think that if that's the case that they're selling on eBay, if that's the type of stuff they're selling on eBay, it would reflect in their feedback and or returns metrics. So don't want to dog anybody or anything that I don't really have firsthand knowledge of. Trying to stay positive,
and
right?
To be quite frank, as much as I don't care for those stores, I truly believe that sometimes they slip through the cracks. Because there's been times with clothing where I didn't catch a stain or a snag or something when I went to go pack it to ship. And I'm like, oh my God, where did this come from?
Yeah, it happens.
It happens.
Alfonso says, if a seller needs to promote an item 30+% to sell an item, they had the item way overpriced to begin with.
Yeah.
And, there's some people saying that they utilize this and they up the price, and they not only do they promote it at a very high rate, then they hit it with a very, very heavily discounted markdown sale. I don't know how well that works. I mean, ultimately, you're just trying to trick the buyer. But if that markdown sale shows the same price as the listing above you, how big of a sale is it really? You guys know I did that asinine, for lack of a better word, that asinine video that I put out last July was about I promoted at 100%, and it was just to me just an extreme experiment. I was fully expecting to have 100%, which means 100% of the item I have to give to eBay in a promoted listing fee, plus another 13% to eBay, plus I got to pay to ship out of pocket. And of course, that promoted listing fee, it's 100% of the shipping, the tax, and the item itself. So it's ridiculous that eBay even has an option for 100%, right? They're happy to have it. But what struck me funny is even a high rate like 30%, 100% doesn't guarantee you that you're going to be the highest ranked. 2 items I had listed, I think I was on page 1 in both cases, but I think I cracked the top 10 in one of the listings. The other one was like halfway down the page. And neither item sold in 2 days when I ended the experiment. I thought both of them would sell in 2 days. You're talking about electronic items. I think there was one was a Sony pair of headphones and something else. And go figure. So the promoted listing isn't the entire equation, but at some point, I think 10% is where I'm at. If eBay starts telling me the recommended price is 15%, I'm putting 10%. And I'm just going to ride that storm and let them just do what they want to do. Let someone else pay that high percentage. Yeah. And, I'm getting people giving me like flack about, this guy, carrying eBay's water, making, trying to influence people to use the promoted listings. Look, I'm just trying to help. If your issue is you're not getting sales, well, here's an answer to try to help you. This is what I'm doing. Okay. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't working. I mean, I don't want to pay eBay extra amount of fees, like an additional, I think it's like an additional $600 something in promoted listings over the last 90 days. I could do something else with that $600 something. But unfortunately, it's the game that eBay is expecting you to play. And it's the same game that Poshmark plays with sharing your listings and playing that game. If you're listing constantly on Poshmark, but you're not playing I'm going to share my listings, my closet, you're not going to get the same kind of sales that you would get if you would play that game. And unfortunately, it involves money out of your pocket. I get it. That's the difference. But, it's like that idea of stepping over a dollar to pick up a quarter. You've got to spend money in business to make money. And it's like in poker, scared money don't make money. Someone reminded me that the other day, and there's nothing truer than that. You've got to be willing to spend money. That's why you got a lot of these big companies, they become well known because they spend money to advertise, right? That's why eBay's losing buyers, because they're really not doing an effective job to advertise to this younger generation. And if they did that, I promise you, we'd all be benefiting from more buyers on the platform. That stranger says, LOL, you give out bags of money and people will get riled up. I either ignore or wind them up more than depending on my mood. Yeah, but I'm not trying to upset anyone. I just think sometimes people are so fed up with eBay that, the messenger gets shot at and they try to shoot him down and think that, well, why are you coming out saying this? What motivation do you have? And my motivation's always been to help people. I don't have, you're not going to see in my videos 5 minutes in that, by the way, I'm a segue over to how you can pay me to show you how to do X, Y, and Z. That's not what this channel is about. I'm just giving you my honest opinion, guys, and telling you what I do. And hopefully it helps somebody. It's not going to help everyone, but maybe it'll give you some ideas to try some stuff.
You can never win them all. You're either going to be the one that's, high-fiving eBay, or you're the one that's, flipping the bird. You're never going to win.
But I just want to make sure that people understand that regardless of what I'm saying, my intentions are pure. I mean, in that I'm just trying to be helpful. I'm just trying to help. Whenever I answer someone's questions on the comments or an email, it's really, I'm really truthfully trying to help you. And I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I don't think there's ever been a time where I've turned someone's question or email into, well, I don't have the answer, but if you join my group, $39.95, I'm not going to do that. Michelle Wathan, I hope I get that right. I'm sure it's one of those two. John, why did you opt out of international? I'm just starting. Jan. Okay. Well, John. Okay. Curious about that, Jan, why you opted out. You guys know why I opted out, and it's going to be until they fix their issue. Unicorn Museum says, I got my first sale under the new international shipping program in 4 days, and she hasn't paid. Says the shipping rates are too high. I'm waiting, though, because I want to sell that unicorn. And it's crazy. You can't send them an invoice. You can't really do anything with it. You got to wait the 4 days out. and it's just kind of just a pain. And they're telling you they don't want to buy the item. Now, I don't know if under this new program you can do a cancellation due to buyer, doesn't want the item. I think you can.
Buyer
but
has to cancel.
Yeah, maybe have that conversation with the buyer. Does this mean that you do not want this anymore? And see if they reply back to you. Thriftaholic says, I only had one return this week. Guys said these are 34 shorts, and it says 32 right on them. I never even messaged him, just send them back, man.
Yeah.
So, some people just have an issue with their waistline, I guess. They're just, people are in denial about the things that they sell on eBay. I got to tell you, that's the biggest problem when I'm looking at a lot of these stores. People really are convinced that they have the Ark of the Covenant on their store, and someone really, really, really wants it. But are you asking me to give you my honest opinion? Some people won't even give me a thank you. That's all I just want to make sure, hey, you have any questions about this, when I'm trying to give out store reviews. But, this just reminds me that people are in denial about their, like it took me forever to go from a size XL to a double X shirt. I tell you that right now. Noah Design says, John should have said, I sent the kid size because you're acting like one. Yeah, it's like, this guy's
sometimes you just really want to get down in those comments and just send them the nastiest.
Oh yeah, this guy says, I'm 6'2" and I can't use this thing that's made for kids. Why did you change the listing, dude?
Well, sir, if you knew anything about eBay, you can't change a listing after it's been sold.
Well, the dude has 850 transactions. It's like, okay.
That doesn't mean that he knows.
But he should have an idea. I don't get that kind of stuff from a zero feedback buyer. I mean, I haven't gotten one of those yet. Just Sally says, hi, John and Jenna. My sales have plummeted over the last couple of weeks. Just hanging in, hoping for sales over the weekend so I don't end up with a $0 payout. I'm just listing and hoping.
That's all you can do. So keep listing, keep going, keep pushing. Because if you stop, eBay will completely stop.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was watching Auction Professor's video that he put out, and he didn't list for like a period of a couple weeks or so. And he said that it really killed a lot of his sales, and you have to build that momentum. And that's not to say you have to list every day, but it's saying that, look, eBay wants your attention. You don't have to take them to the park every week or every day, but, show them a little bit of love by, maybe doing an end item sell similar, maybe just do a generic refresh in your store, but get in there, answer your buyers' questions. I do think there's something to that. And just,
every once in a while, just tell eBay that you love him,
but
and be done.
But one question, Sally, I have is really, and this isn't just meant for you. It's meant for a lot of people who are having a hard time with sales. And I said this a few minutes ago. Have you really dove in to see this exact thing that I just listed that I was hoping would sell? Well, has it sold before? And if it has, what's different from your listing versus the one that sold? And if it's just a one-off that sold, maybe you're on the wrong item. You want to find stuff that has sold multiple times over the last 30 days. And it's easier said than done. I get it, but that means you just got to be a little bit more selective. I would rather you go to a yard sale, spend all day, pick up 10 items than a carload full of crap, which I've done many times. I get it back and I'm like, okay, well, half of this stuff is worth my time. The other stuff, like I went to the bins, the stuff is still back there. Bought a bunch of clothing, right? Spent like $40. Wow, I got like 60 items here, but I either not motivated to list it or it's not really all that great to begin with, which she reminds me of all the time. The Vin Chris Collection says, hi, Flippin'. We changed promoted rates to the dynamic rate to experiment, was promoting at 5%. First day promoted impression went up quite a bit as well as the external clicks. Thanks for your ideas. So that's the number one thing that's going to happen. That if you go in and you promote at a higher rate, you're going to see that your impressions and page views are going to go up. Now, that doesn't mean your sales are going to go up. It just means more people are seeing or having more exposure to your listings. So what are you doing to your listings to convert that exposure over to an actual sale? So it does no good for your buyers to look at your item and go, oh, well, okay, it looks like you did the 100-yard dash past this item. I can't tell if it's gray or blue, or maybe it's way too high, yet you're getting more people looking at your listing. You got to close the sale, okay? You got to find a way to emulate the items that have sold already. eBay's giving you the data. You just got to be willing to do it. Now, maybe you're hoping to get $50 for that item and it's really only selling for 35. It's time to be real with yourself and lower the price to 35, and that's going to help. Biff Boffo says, once an item sells, you cannot edit any part of the listing. Even if an offer is out, you cannot. And exactly.
Facts.
Exactly. And so it's like, and that's for the buyer's protection, because if there is a shady seller out there and they sell this $500 item, but it's not really the one that's worth $500, and now they advertise it as such, they go back in the listing and change it to the other undesirable, not maybe non-limited edition item. That's something that eBay wants to protect. And
I don't blame them.
I mean, why? I mean, I think it's this denial thing. People don't want to admit when they've made a mistake.
Yeah.
It's easier for them to blame you for being a crook or a shisty individual.
It's always going to be someone else's mistake. It's never going to be, oh my gosh, I bought the wrong one because I didn't have my glasses on and the numbers I thought said 47.
And the problem I have is I know what really went down. That buyer in his heart or her heart really knows went down, but the person that's looking at my feedback doesn't know what went down, and they think that,
well,
wow,
they do now.
Well, I put a rebuttal in there, but anyone who's not watching this live stream doesn't know.
Well, no, I'm saying that.
Reina Alazawi says, hi, Mercari asked me to fill in a W-9 form, even if I don't make a $600 profit. Is it necessary for me? Is it going to stop me from selling my items? I believe that they will stop you from selling your items.
Selling platform is going to ask you to fill in a W-9.
You may have never sold $600 ever on any given year, but the idea that you have the potential to do so, they are required to do it.
It's standard.
Now, is the government going to change that in December to where, okay, well, we're not going to do it again this year? It's possible, but you can't look at it that way. You got to treat it as if it's going to happen. Everything you sell, you really got to just get in the habit of deducting. One way to do it is just when you get your daily or weekly deposits, just deduct a certain amount from that, whatever your situation is going to be different than mine, and just move it over to your savings account or something. And so get it out of your way so you don't spend it. Edward McHugh says, I told you about a month ago I couldn't find some of my own listings. The auction professor says it's a glitch. Oh, it's certainly a glitch. And I don't doubt that that's happening, because it's happened with us too, where, you can search for your own items. You can't find it. You can log into something you're not logged into, like let's say another browser, and you're going to find everyone else's listing but your own. Heck, with just searching within your own inventory, looking at your listed items, we've had like a stack of items that we pulled off the shelf that wasn't coming up, that they've lost in our inventory. Mm-hmm. So it's certainly a known thing, but that's been happening for quite some time.
Years, actually.
Yeah, and even them selling the item more than once. It's sold.
We have to go through our listings, just going through our inventory, because sometimes we have to move things around to make things fit. And sometimes we look at things and we're like, wait, we haven't seen this on the store in a while. And we'll pull it down and look for it on the store. It's not there.
Yeah. And
so it goes in the pile to be relisted again. And it happens all the time, and it's been happening for a while. We usually go and do a thorough inventory check. I don't know how many times, maybe twice a year.
Yeah, every 6 months.
Yeah.
So I am a Doxa says, have you used Whatnot? I've bought from buyers on Whatnot on a couple occasions. Never sold, and I'm in the mindset. Look, why do I want to sell this for $1? Risk selling it for $1 or maybe $2 if that's where I'm starting it, and have someone else get a great deal on something that I can maybe sell for $10 to $20, that type of thing. So I'm just not there at the mindset, and I think you have to have that mindset where you're comfortable getting a couple bucks per item and just liquidating. I guess if I was liquidating stuff, that would be a good place to go, but I'm not in the liquidation mode right now. So really, I think it's a good business model, but I just don't have the type of inventory that's going to make it worth my while.
Yeah, I'm not into live auctions.
It'd be kind of fun. I see people that make hundreds of dollars in a setting.
I know. It's for some people, but it's not for us.
Yeah, there's some people who go to the bins and buy stuff like pennies on the dollar and come home and flip it for $2, $3, $10.
Yeah, but there's also people out there that do it on like Instagram, TikTok. They do all these live sales, and they have time for it. They make that part of their business model.
Yeah.
No, we just don't.
Patty 1979 says sales are up this week, and Silver here has a serious question. Why aren't my wool sweaters selling this spring? They're going to do even better in a couple more months.
Maybe you should find that Alaska buyer.
Keep those wool sweaters at the high price. Don't put them on sale. Keep them priced high. They're going to go sometime this summer. I can't promise you. That's just a joke. Alfonso says, I get quality sales on Etsy, higher prices. However, low amount of sales after eBay and Mercari is best for me. Yeah, Mercari is doing, I think they're doing better than they have before.
That's my goal for next week.
Yeah, just get that up.
Is to get a bunch of listings put over there.
I know, right? My double insulated puffer jacket is not selling. I don't know what you guys' problem is. We sold a military puffer jacket just the other day. I mean, what's going on? For $200. Callie Deb says, I'm getting more sales on all the other platforms. eBay is the one that is underperforming for me. Yeah. And that's why for you guys who are just putting all your eggs in one basket on the eBay side, really think about it. Not saying the ones you just listed, you give those a chance to sell on eBay. But since there's not a mad dash to those items anyway, there's not that, unless if you're on top of it, there's not going to be that big of a risk of double selling it between sites. Get it up on Mercari.
Don't forget to hit the like button.
Yes, please.
For a sale.
235 people have chances right now getting a sale.
235 people.
That's awesome.
That's so awesome. We appreciate you.
Yes. If it flips, it ships. 101 just got an email from a buyer that was complaining about FeeBay. What do I tell them? They are a piece of work. My guess would be it's FeeBay sending the message. I wouldn't put it past them. Just let them know, hey, I'm here to help in any way you can. I wouldn't really get into bashing the site. Because again, we're kind of bashing the site right now, but this is just honest talk. But when you're dealing with your buyer, you just want to say, look, I'm here to help you in any way I can. Let me know if you have any questions. And I think that buyer is going to appreciate you more than someone that's either A, non-responsive, or B, just starts putting down eBay. Because you put a negative thought in someone's mind about eBay, they're gonna be like, yeah, they're right. Why am I even buying here? And that's all that's doing is contributing to your own demise and all of our demises by not being as helpful as we can.
It's probably best that unless they have a question, I wouldn't even acknowledge it.
Thriftaholic went back to work for a while, full time, and my eBay is doing almost as good now as I'm banging out listings daily.
That's great.
Yeah. It just, what can you say? There's a lot of factors involved in that, but do the best you can for your situation is all I can say on that. Steve Posty says, my 1-finger gloves are selling like hotcakes, but if you had 2-finger gloves, I'm sure that those will do better. That'll give you some ideas. Chris Wiley says, hi all, has anyone actually done Whatnot? I'm thinking of moving stock that I sourced extremely cheap, but don't know enough about Whatnot. Like, where does one even start pricing for an auction? Yeah. Well, people say that if you start at $1 on Whatnot, you're running the risk of losing because of their fees and everything. You're going to lose on that. So start at $2 and just see whatever the market is. If you have stuff that people don't want, don't expect to even sell it at $2. If you're okay with liquidating stuff like that, then you're good. But if you have like cheap plastic kids toys, it ain't gonna sell for $2.
I just dumped a whole tote full.
Yeah, and we were gonna save it for a yard sale, but it's like it was in the way. Like space is at a premium, and in my garage,
space is a hot commodity around here.
If I had a warehouse,
find it.
If I had a warehouse, I'd probably have double the amount of stuff. I pass on so much stuff because of the sake of where the hell am I going to put it, right? So that keeps me kind of grounded. Keenis's footless socks are doing well. Yes.
Leg warmers.
I like selling single socks, so I break up the pairs and I sell them.
Stop.
Thriftaholic says maybe because eBay displays the price of the item did not sell for because they're not showing the best offer price that was accepted on the comps. You look up how shady. Someone said that there's a Chrome extension to show that if you're interested in, seeing what that is. I really don't. I mean, I just get a ballpark by looking at, all the solds to get an idea. Let's see. Piggy Ricky, I bought some more Etsy items this week. Couple of Wedgwood plates, a Princess Diana decanter, and a Royal Albert teapot to put on there this weekend.
Ooh, I bet that stuff would be really cool.
Yeah. Jim B says, look like that hearing aid phone after you fix the shipping. Congrats.
It did. It sold right after.
I got to tell you, that phone sold. But when I went to ship it, it was going to a business, and it's CapTel, and it says the attention CapTel buyback program. So I'm like, well, is this like a Vero thing? Why are they buying this used phone? So yeah, the company bought the phone back.
Oh,
and
the buyer was Cap?
Yes. And it's the attention CapTel buyback program. So I kind of got a little freaked out by it, but I'm like, well, I got to ship it now, right?
Well, so, they can't give you a Vero if they already bought it, right?
Oh, they can. I've had, you have a shady buyer message where, no, don't worry about it. But if you haven't shipped the item out, don't ship it yet. Well, it's already been shipped. Or you've been Vero'd like 2 weeks after you've actually shipped the item to somebody. And they say, oh, don't worry, we're going to, give you back your fees. And I'm like, cool, that's a cool thing, right? I get to get my fees back on something I sold. Uh-oh. But I was kind of like, whoa, what? I've never seen this before. And,
that doesn't come back because that was last week.
It was. So
actually,
what do you guys think? Yeah. What do you guys think about that? But thanks for bringing that up. If it flips to ships, I wonder if you turn off all shipping, if the algo would just work your area. Well, it won't let you in the listing unless you have like a local pickup thing. Not quite sure, unless you're saying that you're going in and excluding certain states, just keeping I think you're losing a lot of buyers if you do that. Steve says, what hearing aid phone? I could use one of those. I picked up a couple. I might have another one in my store, but
I think it's being facetious.
Yeah. Well, in case.
In case you're not.
Yeah. I do have one for sale if you want it. 918 says, when sourcing items in bulk. Okay, I think we already said how do you decide on that? Again, a lot of things I covered in this video. I think that's why he did the super chat to get my attention. Yeah. So hopefully that information helped you. Captain Kirk 1701. Hey John, enjoy the videos. Thanks for the tips. Always glad to. And it's hard to make these videos because you want to put out good content and not repetitive stuff. So hopefully I've been able to do that lately.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Chris says, Jenna, that color is amazing on you.
Oh, thank you.
Wanda says, howdy. I hate the eBay app and don't trust it. I don't trust it either. That's why I'm really careful about it. Anybody have this? They, on the eBay app, they're trying to maybe do a sell. I do a sell similar. And you go in and they've assigned like a random weight and size of the package. Anyone ever see that? And it's like, this ain't 15 ounces. It's like, where the heck did they come up with this? And if you're not careful, you're going to be stuck. I've had this happen before. Stuck with free shipping, stuck with, free returns. They make up their own policies sometimes, and you got to be on top of it. That's for sure. Truman says, times are getting tough. John casing the FedEx truck. He was afraid you're going to rob him. Yeah, he might have been.
I told. So apparently our main FedEx guy is off on Mondays. Go figure.
No, I take off too.
I said, oh, that's wonderful. I said, that's our biggest shipping day.
Yeah.
And I said, my husband had to load up the car and flag down, which he didn't know he was going to be doing, and flag down the guy. And he's like, oh dear.
Yeah.
I said, because he was late. He's all, yeah, he has to be here before 5.
But hopefully it doesn't happen again, because I don't like having to deal with that. I mean, what am I going to do?
That was stressful because you also had somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, I picked up my 300 ring, which is cool. Ruben Almanza says, had a buyer give me a negative feedback because he did not read the description. But
That's usually
Ruben,
what the negatives are for, or are about, is because they didn't read.
But Ruben, you know that's your fault, right? That's just your fault. It's
always your fault.
It's your fault that the buyer didn't read
Ruben's
that.
fault.
It was my fault that he thought I shipped him a kid's
Keena
version.
says that Steve was not being facetious, that he does need those that kind of a phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, check my store. I should have something like it. It's not a CapTel because they would have bought it back. I'm listening plenty. I can hear you while I talk. I promise you.
No. Hold on. I gotta find the. She said, not being facetious, he can't hear and has hearing aids that don't work.
Uh-oh. I think change the battery is the first place I'd start.
Have you ever thought about the fact that maybe they are just conveniently don't work?
Right. I mean, if that was, look, let me put it this way. If I actually had to use hearing aids, you better believe there's going to be times I'm turning that thing off.
Do you not know? Okay, I do have a problem hearing. I can't hear. If he's in this room and he's trying to talk to me while I'm in the kitchen with the sink running and the garbage disposal, and I'm clang in the dishes, and I have, YouTube playing so I can have something to watch. Yeah. He's in here getting so pissed off because I can't hear him.
So I'll yell, I'm like, Jenna, ha! She has that old lady, what kind of thing. And it's like, wow. So it's like,
but I've told him in the nicest way possible. Can you please come talk to me? Don't yell from another room because I can't hear you.
Well, we have pretty good acoustics in this house where you from one room to the look, you can't hear someone is calling you from the living room. You just can't really hear them. So
plus, depending on where we are, what we're doing, what YouTube video you listen to your volume on so loud.
Because in the evening and I'm in here and you guys are watching whatever you're watching, the Marvel universe, whatever, Shields or whatever it is, you're rocking my wall. And it's like I can't even hear nothing. So yeah, I'm gonna have my.
But we haven't watched those shows.
Yeah, but I'm just in the mode to get it started before you guys start. Yeah, okay. John Doe is bragging. Bought another 150 vintage hats today. Many of them were tobacco companies. 12 of them were 3 stripes. Paid 26 for them all. That's awesome. So get those things up, John. Got to make those sales. I think Archie's been kind of fired up lately. Biscuit Butt. He's finding all kinds of stuff. He's getting stuff listed.
Well, he's not fired up right now because he's not on here.
I don't know where he is. Usually he kind of hangs out, but
he's
I guess
awfully quiet.
Got Barbara Pinnell says, "Love your YouTube program from Oklahoma." Well, thank you, Barbara. Thank you for being here with us. That's pretty cool. Like seeing new people, that's for sure. We got Ferret Fan. My store is almost 2 years old and I have 187 followers. I get return customers about 1 to 2 times a month. No promoted listing fees. I rarely get return customers because I sell different things.
We get Mike. Mike's our return customer.
Yeah. The more niched out your store is, the more return customers you're going to get.
Yeah.
Which is
because we sell everything, we don't really have that opportunity.
If I could give you an ideal an ideal store on eBay, it would be a lot of the stuff I'm selling right now where I can kind of niche out in the same category. The problem is just not finding enough of the same thing that's selling. I'm gravitating from this thing to that thing to this thing to that thing. And if you're one of those sellers out there who can really do that, that's where you want to be. You get those repeat buyers. You can send the private coupons, give them special deals for coming back, but nobody's coming back to me.
Archie's here. He's falling asleep on
Delusional Picker bought 4 Bud Light cowboy hats this week.
Oh.
That goes right along with the one-fingered gloves that are selling really well.
Did he buy? Wait, hold on. Go back up. I sold 4
Bud Light cowboy hats this week.
That's what that was.
Okay, I thought he said bought. Biff Boffo says
they bought them to burn them.
I don't know what they did. John, I haven't seen your secondary store, but I don't think it's the ASP. I think it's the items themselves. They sell collectibles. There's not a large quarter-by-quarter variance. It's a lot of things. That secondary store.
That secondary store is crap.
You're never gonna.
It's just crap.
you're never going to hear me get really bothered when stuff doesn't sell in that store.
Yeah.
Because I realize I understand the kind of stuff I'm selling. I'm selling like albums, and some albums have value, but others just don't. They kind of sit around. I have just randomness in that store, but I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. It's my main store that really
like it to go down. I'd rather just get rid of
yeah.
junk.
But in the meantime, we still have it, and we're still trying to sell it. It's my main store that really, if I sell, $100 worth of stuff in a day on that secondary store, it's a good day. On my main store with a lot less items, if I have a $200 day, it's like, okay, just got to do better tomorrow, and it kind of gets me fired up. So yeah, I temper my expectations on that secondary store. Janet's here with us.
From Georgia.
Yeah, and Fisher Flips is here. Thanks for being here.
Good evening.
Let's see what else. I'm trying to get to some new folks, but we have John Doe. I've got some vintage underwear new. I'll list, but not going to list diapers. They're all yours. There's a lot of folks.
There's a lot of conversation going on.
Yeah. Nature Made in Utah says stores coming back from the dead. I list 4 items a day, and usually I sell one day now. Posting mostly new stuff from now on. Yeah,
that's good.
Biff is up 35% over last year, and I have definitely seen an issue in April. If you haven't had them, it's just luck or small sample size.
Right, exactly. Not everybody is going to have all these glitches happen to them. We could bitch until the cows come home about glitches upon glitches upon glitches, and not everybody is going to have them. And so they're like, well, what are you talking about? There aren't any glitches going on. There are, and it's affecting only certain people, or for who knows why.
Well, it could be because the glitches could be category specific too. Right, so you're selling in a clothing category, let's say back in 2020, back in the fall of 2020, those of you who were selling back then will remember that eBay lost almost all your photos. But for me, not selling clothing, I didn't have to go through that. So a lot of these glitches are category specific, and some people are going to see them, others aren't. Chastity Grant says, Thriftaholic, the same thing happened to me, but I still auto cancel after 4 days of non-payment from the date it was actually purchased via best offer. So Chastity had an international buyer buy an item that didn't pay because the shipping was too high. Too Tall says, who is the baseball guy on the wall behind you? That's Mike Trout.
Mike Trout.
I'm an Angels fan, huge Angels fan. Him and Ohtani, greatest baseball players on earth, and they happen to be on the team I follow. So Brian H says, hit the like button at the beginning of the show. Just got a sale for a pair of Harley Davidson fork sliders.
Woo!
I sold a sissy chair. Well, no, not a sissy chair. Is it a sissy seat?
Yes, it is a sissy seat.
It's one of those you buy for a Harley, and you just
for the person
that doesn't want to have to hang on, I guess, right?
It's a sissy bar.
It's a black sissy bar backrest for Harley Softail Lowrider Sports Glide.
Yeah.
Sold that for $76.49 plus shipping. Pretty good deal there. James says, I had a glitch. I thought it was a fart, but never mind. I hope you didn't call eBay, though. That's Raul says, hey, John, what do you think about using suggested price for your listing? I don't see that. I don't see a suggested price. Well, actually, okay. Yes, you do. I take that back. I don't put a lot of importance into that. No. I will go in and do on a separate tab. I'll do my sold. I'll do my comps. Check the 90 days. All you got to do is do a search for an item and then click on the left-hand side for solds. And I'm going to get more data from that than I will, because you don't get all the information. They give you maybe 1 or 2 listings that, like on the app, you can look to see. It's not worth it. Truman says, hit the like button for cha-ching within 24 hours. John is offering 100% money back guarantee.
That's right.
Yes. I've not had to pay anybody back anything.
That's right.
Doesn't mean they didn't get a sale. They just didn't pay nothing. Ferret Fan says, I keep getting a different eBay created return policy that pops up when I list. I have my default set, but it never defaults to it. Kind of annoying. Had to bulk edit a bunch of new listings, and it shouldn't have to be that way. It shouldn't have to be that way. Look,
just another annoyance.
Yeah. LSGS Rob says the fees aren't that high. I would say not yet. Depends on where you're at, where your default is.
But in all honesty, for some they are high. It depends on how much you're making. And if this is your full-time income and you don't have a lot coming in and you've got these fees coming out your yin yang, then it is a lot for some people. For some, it may be a drop in the bucket. But for others, when this is their main income and they're just struggling to make a sale, and then here they got to give away a good chunk of it, it can be a lot.
LSGS Rob says, I only use pirate ship for international sales. Nice part is that you don't get charged the fee on the shipping. You charge for international. If you do it yourself, only on what the domestic price is. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then John Jones says, I love the bickering. I think I'm going to have like a live stream camera that I set up on another channel. I think that'd be great.
No, don't do that.
Michelle says, Amazon finally seeing that free shipping is not profitable. They're promoting going and picking it up. That's good for us eBayers. Yeah, the moment.
Although I do live for Prime.
Yeah. But yeah, the moment that buyers realize, wow, shipping isn't free, maybe they'll, think differently on some of our, because I think that there's an element of these buyers that really do think that we get some hookup where it doesn't cost us anything to ship because we say free shipping. Yeah. Michelle says, Amazon finally seeing that free shipping is not profitable. Okay. And then Time Traveler's Chest, good afternoon. Do you know if you can sell similar on Mercari, or do I have to relist an item, delete my pics after posting on eBay? And if I delete on Mercari, do I need to retake pics? I believe you have to. There's no way to sell similar. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never had a duplicate item to list on Mercari. If I've sold an item on Mercari, it's like a one-off. It's not something I have. Unicorn Museum says, no way to know what eBay is charging under the new international shipping program. So my buyer tried to get me to give her a discount after she bought, hasn't paid. Yeah, you can't negotiate, and you got to let them know. Look, I am only shipping it to eBay. eBay is the one charging you for this service, and unfortunately, they don't tell us. There is a way to go into your orders, and where it's hyperlinked, where it shows you the total amount. You can right-click on that, and it should give you what the buyer paid in its entirety for the entire thing, including for the international shipping. But maybe they've changed that. They used to be that way with global shipping. Ashton C, can you do a test on mediocre listing?
Picture.
Oh, wow. Can you do a test on a mediocre listing? Promote it at the $1 per day promoted listing. Would be interested to share with everyone on the channel. I did do that for a larger, not a larger item, but a more expensive item, like a $200-$300 item. It seemed to help, I guess. I moved those items
you could
very
do
quick.
It just so that Ashton has an idea.
Yeah, I just don't want to. I'm already promoting at 10%. I'm like, I don't know if I want to mess with advanced anymore and to give money to eBay. I don't know. Just the idea. But I just don't see it. I'll look into it.
Come on, they don't take that much.
They do take as much as you're willing to. They're willing to take 100%. Okay, it's set up that way. You can do it right now. Brian H has picked up a T184 Plus calculator at the Goodwill bins for under $1. Has the name of the previous owner engraved on the side of it. Is it worth me sanding the name off or selling it as is? Probably just sell it as it is. Put a little note in the condition that it has the previous owner's name on it, because unless there's it's going for a whole lot, it's really not worth messing with.
That's like some of those army gear. So the boots, they have the soldier's last name written on the inside of the tag, on the inside of the shoe, and it's in permanent marker. And so I could not get it off for the life of me. So in the listing description, I put the name, that there is a last name on the ends, but it obviously they can't see it. Nobody can see it because it's on the inside of the shoe.
Bill York wants to know, why isn't eBay more transparent / open?
Who knows?
My theory on that is that I think they already have chased enough buyers away that if they, went on and say that, we're experiencing difficulties, you may run into a problem buying this item for whatever reason, or finding the item you're looking for, it would make people just think, well, why am I here? So they hope that people don't experience that, and they just shrug their shoulders when people come asking what's wrong. And I really think that, and I think also would affect their shares if word got out, official word, that they're having problems, that may affect their stock prices. And I think that's always on their mind. Haley Hellbound says, does anyone else's kids claims things from the yard sales halls each week? This kid does. She'll take stuff all the time. She used to, like, when we get pallets in, she didn't really want to help with the pallet, but she wanted to help herself to the pallet. And it's like,
or when he bought it, he'd be like, "Oh, I won this pallet, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Let me see the manifest."
What's the phrase? Don't get high off your own supply. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Jim B says,
still waiting for my Dyson Airwrap.
Well, when we get one, it's yours. Jim B says, it seems like most people that ask me questions on eBay end up not buying the item. Time wasters.
Yeah.
If it's more than one question, then you got to start getting worried, right? They start asking you all these, and they're like, "Okay, thank you, I'll consider it." I'm like, "Oh man, I wasted my time." But you know what? You got to be on top of it, because people, they definitely are. A lot of them are serious in buying the item. They have a specific need. And that's why it's also very important to try to put as much pertinent information in your item description so that you can eliminate a lot of those questions. Elizabeth Valdez says, "Hi, thanks for answering all these questions. My question, how do you find out if you're opted into the new international shipping program? I was not opted into global shipping." So you want to go into your account. So if you're on the website on the computer, on the upper left, you'll see your name. You click on that. It'll say account. Let me just follow myself here. It'll say account settings. You click on account settings. You go down on the left-hand side where it says shipping preferences. And the first thing that you'll see at the top is shipping service, international shipping status, enrolled or not enrolled. And then it'll give the option. If it says opt out, you can click on that to opt out. If it says enroll, like it does for me, you can enroll. Now, if you want to be enrolled, you have to make sure your shipping policies are set up in such a way to where you're domestic only. If you have your own international shipping set up, you're doing calculated or whatever, then you could be opted in all you want up here, but it's not going to have you in the program, if that makes sense. So not only do you have to be opted in, all of your shipping policies have to be domestic and have no international setup. That makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And if you want to be out, you just simply change your shipping policies over. I just go in and opt out. That's what I would say to do, to be on the safe side. Downtown Funko Pop. "Hey dude, I'm leaving eBay as a seller because they support the scammers doing swap outs." But that's an ongoing thing. That's an ongoing thing. Think of it like this. The swap out is such a small percentage of your returns, and your returns are such a small percentage of your sales. It's that one transaction or two transactions that just make you like, "Oh man, this sucks." It's that bad feeling that it gives you. And I understand. I get it. We've all felt that way. Like, why do I even bother with these people? Especially if it's a high-end item, right? But
well, he just had one today. We got a return for a Hamilton Beach coffee maker. I don't remember what the reason was as to why it came back. However,
no, that was an old return. That wasn't a return I got today. No, I've been sitting on that for months. I just haven't posted. It was a return. I'm trying to figure out.
I didn't get the whole story then.
We had a return months ago, and the thing's been sitting here, and I gave them their money back, and I didn't even mess with it. But I'm like testing this thing out, and like, this thing works great. And then, tested it out, found that there's no problems. Went to do photos, so I'll list this thing. And the bottom is like busted up on the bottom. So when I got to the photo of taking a picture of the bottom where the label is, it's like, I can't sell this. So, time to part it out.
A bad example. However, it does happen a lot.
LSGS Rob says, "Promoting listings will never guarantee more sales, only will give you more traffic. It's all up to the buyer to put their payment information and follow through." And that's the thing. eBay is only giving us an opportunity to generate traffic to our listings. There's nowhere that says eBay is going to guarantee you X amount of sales if you have such a large store. I'm wondering, and this is kind of something I was wondering today, is there a correlation between the size of store that you have and does eBay feel obligated to give you more traffic as a result? Let's say you have an anchor store. Are you going to inherently get more traffic because you're paying eBay more money versus a starter store? That type of thing. no one will ever give you the answer on that, but I'm just wondering, I mean, if you're paying that kind of money to eBay every month, you think that they would be motivated to kind of give you a little boost, just like a new item boost would give you. I don't know. Anybody who switched over to an Anchor store?
I don't think anybody, we will never know the answer to that question.
It's just a guess.
He asked me that yesterday, and I said, we'll never know. However, I'm sure it plays a small role along with all of the other factors that we have to abide by in order to be successful on eBay.
Kimberly Sweet says, you're giving these troll comments way too much airtime. Everyone here loves you guys. I'm so happy I found you. Flipping ain't easy. Well, thank you for being here, Kimberly. We were glad you're here.
Sweet.
And, I sometimes I'm going so fast that I can't even discern a troll comment from an actual one until like halfway through, but it is good. Biff says you should do a live store review. I may not do a live one. I might do one where I do like 2 or 3 and put it in a video. But yeah, I definitely want to do something like that. LSGS Rob says, it took me 3 years to finally realize that what I was selling was not working. This year, I finally started sourcing better items and leaving the garbage I used to buy behind, and it changed the game.
Yes,
that's my comment. Exactly. From
what was going on in 2022 to where we are in 2023 has been an ultimate game changer.
Yeah. Can we just go back to 2019?
That was a really nice
fun
year.
Jordan Klein says, as a full-time reseller dependent on you income, do you have a backup plan, other platform you are keeping your eye on to relocate if eBay pulls a big ta-da and says that they're bankrupt? We use the cross-listing tool, Prime Lister. We have a lot of our stuff on our clothing and shoes that we have in our stores on Poshmark. We had a lot of stuff on Mercari. We're going to get in there and get a lot of stuff on there. Bonanza would be, they're still going to have your items, but they're linked to eBay. So if eBay shuts down, I'm sure Bonanza is going to be in a world of hurt. No, and there's nothing to say that they are. They're making too much money, but there's going to come a time on eBay's current trajectory, if they don't make some serious changes, and in my opinion, it's the backbone of their website. Get new technology in there instead of trying to patch up old technology.
Yeah, they're running 1995.
They need to keep
stuff.
The newer generations honing in on their site, and the newer generations don't even know much about eBay.
No.
So they've got to work on that. And unless they do, if they don't do that, then I would start to worry in about 5 to 10 years that it may not be the same site as you know of it as now. Juan Rivera says 75% decrease in sales, even with 12 plus hours on eBay daily. So I'd say, Juan, you might be in the same kind of rut that I was in last year. Just I had the wrong stuff. I mean, if I only had the same stuff that I had last year, I would be making like $75 to $100 a day.
Probably wouldn't be talking to you because we'd be working a job.
I'd have an eBay, a YouTube channel on working part-time for someone who hates you ain't easy. And yeah, it would be a different altogether. Just Sally says, my sales have been steady up in the last couple of weeks. I'm a helicopter seller. My store is my baby. Yeah. I mean, you're on it. You're focused on the different changes and trends. You got to be. I think the more successful sellers have to be that way. But something that may have sold even a month ago, maybe not selling as well. And you have to be willing to try to figure it out. And I think the answer is looking at previous activity and what other people are selling. If other people aren't selling it, then you shouldn't be selling it. Unless it's a one-of-a-kind thing, and that's why it doesn't have any comps. Truman says, but I like taking eBay to the park and buying them ice cream. God bless her little baby heart. Everything starts with the person in the mirror. You're sourcing and accurate listings and promoting. But it's being honest with yourself. I mean, if you truly want the answer.
There are things that need to be assessed and accepting feedback.
Right.
That may not sound great, or you think of it as, oh God, he's just dogging on my store now. No, we want you to succeed so badly. We all want to see everybody just win. And if you're selling things that aren't going to be making a good profit, then taking pictures that are running around blurry. I mean, it's a lot of things.
You got to be honest with yourself. And if like I'm looking at your store and I say, look, you need to maybe consider doing this, and the other thing, don't get offended. Maybe try to look at it from my point of view. Well, maybe, maybe he's right, but if you're not willing to accept that feedback, I mean, if you're not even willing to be honest with yourself, that, all the feedback that you need is out there. If you just look up your items and see what they're doing. I guarantee you the people that are saying I'm having no sales, they don't have iPhones. They don't have a lot of Apple products. They don't have like, the hottest clothing item right now, whatever that might be. They have things that just aren't desirable. That's 99% of the time when we look at these stores, we're seeing stuff that's like, it's cute, right? But it's not desirable. And you got to understand that what is cool looking to you, what you thought is cool, what maybe gives you childhood memories, maybe there's not many people looking for that. So it's just, to me, you got to develop that mentality that, are you really serious about making changes, or is this about your ego? And I really think you need to focus on your store and put your feelings aside and maybe make the change. Because look, there ain't no one out here that likes to sell toilet seats, okay? But guess what? We're making that work. We're making that work. Mad Hatter's Boutique says, hey, John and Jenna, happy Friday. I want to say I did remove the eBay opt-in part. I may have increased sales slightly, maybe averaging 12 a day the past 3 weeks. Sales are booming this spring. So
good.
Whatever it is, you got to just do it. And I don't know how long you're going to be able to ride that train of I'm opted out, I'm getting more sales, because I think eBay at some point is going to make the changes to make that work for everyone. I'm just not convinced that's happened yet. Sue Christensen says, I signed up for the eBay summer seller update, and they asked at the end of the registration form, do you feel connected by the other eBay sellers? Do you feel eBay works for the seller? Let them know. I put yes for the connected to other eBay sellers because we have this wonderful community. And I put strongly disagree when they say, do you feel eBay works for the seller? Strongly. But then there's people who won't give the answer that they really feel, because they feel like they're going to be maybe given some kind of cold shoulder. Yeah. I mean, and I don't blame them, but I think we all have to give the kind of feedback, but we need to stop showing up to these events with the happy faces on and say what we really think to these people who are like on these live streams.
Question.
Christine Moses says, I also used your advice and promoted nearly all my listings yesterday. Today I had 6 more sales. I'm telling you, it works.
It does work.
I wouldn't put myself in front of this camera to make a fool out of myself if I don't have some idea that it's at least worked for me.
We don't want to promote. We don't, because we don't want to pay those fees. However, if it makes our stuff sell.
Grandkids Galore says, don't forgetting to hit that thumbs up, guys. We're getting great information for free.
Aw,
yeah, but
go back
up.
You had a question. Oh, you lost.
I lost it. Brian, you sell socks to someone who has a fake leg and a real foot? Yeah,
sure.
They want to match.
No, keep going down.
In a true story, my mom actually had her leg amputated due to like having cancer on her leg. Okay. So yeah, they do that. They have the prosthetic wants to look somewhat real. Where?
The box.
No,
that's the answer.
Okay. Well, this isn't working. So I think the box.
She wants to know how to make an invoice.
Well, there we go.
He. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So he. You go to under my eBay. You go under selling. And then once you get to that point, you get your seller hub, and then you go to orders, awaiting payment. And then you see the list of items, and the first thing you'll see next to them is send invoice. You click on that, type a nice little note to the person, make sure the shipping is correct, because that was a glitch that happened about a week or 2 ago. It wasn't given the correct shipping. And then just hit send, and that'll go to the buyer, and they'll be told, hey, you got to pay, that kind of thing. Royal says, hey guys, I'm having a really hard time with something. You start selling trinket type items. How do you stop your wife from stealing inventory?
You don't.
Yeah, you just don't tell her about it.
Don't let her see him.
Tommy's here. I didn't think he was here. Hi, I'm having trouble getting the eBay website. Can you do a step-by-step tutorial? So go to your browser, type in www. Hopefully you guys are past all that. Yasmin says,
yeah, you're so
flipping, all of a sudden we started getting sales more per day since the item specifics changed. Thank you for being so open and sharing info. Well, that's what we're here for, right? And I think a lot of YouTubers should be able to say that. Some can, some can't. They're just here for their own pocketbook. Tommy says Walmart makes like 1.9% profit. I think the fees are amazing for us not having to do anything like build $1 billion platform. True.
Very true.
Sylvia says today I sold my first L'Agence jacket. Since I watched your live, I've been able. So good. Thank you guys. See, this is why my French class, it really came in handy at this point.
Oh my God.
I was, as in high school, you took French and said, when am I ever going to use this? Well, I just did. I kind of had that.
Well, I passed French and I failed Spanish.
Tommy has a question. Does it matter what leg I put in my pants first? I heard eBay algorithm likes right leggers more. No, actually, I do the whole, I jump and I put both of them in at the same. That takes some talent. Yeah, that takes some talent.
I want to see that. I'm going to videotape it for you guys. Don't you worry.
Tommy says eBay has shock devices on buyer chairs and keyboards. It's easy to say when you're killing it on eBay. I get it. But there are some real serious people who have to understand that there's things that they need to do in order to improve their situation. And I have to say, until they realize that that's not just me or you kind of making fun, it's a real thing that there's some things that people really need to do to make things better for themselves, like I did. They're going to just keep expecting different results doing the same thing. And I hate to say that, but that's just the truth.
You love that saying.
Yeah, but it's the truth. A lot of people live under that guise where they okay, I'm just going to keep doing this. It worked 2 years ago. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing because it's bound to happen again. And they wonder why they're not making sales. Take good advice when you get it, guys, whether it's this channel or another channel. Chris Wiley says, thanks for your thoughts and answers on whatnot. You're welcome. Just trying to catch up to you guys. I think I'm getting close. Tommy says, if your store looks like a flea market, you'll be treated like a flea market.
Yeah.
That's very, very true. And that's why I don't have high expectations for my secondary store. And it's more of I've always told you, that's more of a clearance aisle store. And, it is what it is. It makes a little bit of money. I think a couple grand a month in sales. And I'm content with that. I'm not ever going to complain about how that store performs. So with that said, we're kind of getting to the 2 hour mark here, but I think we had a good discussion. Yeah, we had a really good discussion here. And I just want to thank you guys for being here with us, hanging out with us. It's absolutely amazing to me how you guys are so consistent. You'll be here, and no matter what the topic is, you guys are on point with a lot of good advice and a lot of very helpful information to help other people. And that's kind of what this community is about. Again, we're going to be talking in the future about, different glitches. And it's not going to be because we want to complain. It isn't about that at all. The message, and hopefully you get this message if you watch this far, and that is, be aware of the glitches, understand that some of these glitches are going to get in your way. But as sellers, we're going to have to navigate through, and we can make eBay work despite this, but it's going to take you focusing on the end goal, and that is to improve what you're doing and to make that sale. But these are just yet more examples of how sometimes flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent weekend. And hopefully we'll hear from, we had over 200 people, guys. It's pretty awesome. So hopefully you guys will come back on Monday. Let's talk about our weekend and maybe more stuff that comes up in the eBay world. So until then, have a great weekend, guys.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody.